you're back on the Crafty Meraki YouTube channel with more foiling with the Elegance set. So I have got my plate here on my Glimmer hot foil machine, and we are just gonna let that heat up, and then we are going to, actually once we're foiled, we're going to then use the stencils and we're going to make some fun stuff. So in my previous video I used this black foil, so today we are not going to use that one, but we're going to use this speckled aura and matte gold. This one is so gorgeous. It's kind of weird because it's not like super goldy, but it's just enough gold, but with that sort of very elegant matte shimmer to it. I really love it. But right, so first we're going to foil because our machine is ready, our plate is ready, and we're going to measure out the foil by using, or kind of measuring it against the hot foil plate. And then we're going to use a Fiskars textile tool, and we're going to run the piece. We're going to cut the piece. We're going to run our tool over the foil and cut the piece. And we're going to do both of these foils now, just kind of get them done and out of the way. And then we can put the actual foil packets away so that they're not kind of, you know, taking up space on the desk. Here I put the foil down on the hot foil plate before remembering that, oops, you know what? We need to actually trim off a little corner to fit the sticky out bits, because the foil is skinnier than this Elegance hot foil piece. So the way to get around that is to trim off a tiny little bit, and then you put down your foil so that it covers as much as possible of your hot foil plate, and then you use that tiny little bit to cover any outsticking leaves. And if you place the foil right, it should just be the one. And then you place down your paper as usual, your shims, and you press your timer. And when the timer goes off, you just run that through your die cutting machine as usual. So I do usually run it through twice, but I've been having a little bit of issues recently, so I've tried to do it just once. But when you finish with the die cutting machine, pop your plate, the hot foil plate, back onto the machine so that it's all kind of keeping hot and ready for the next lot of foiling. And here you can see, we're gonna have a quick little close up. So this is the speckled aura, and I am begging Bindu to get this in. So hopefully, fingers crossed, she will fulfill my wish list, because I had quite a long wish list of all the foils, but the speckled aura is definitely on the list. It looks fantastic. But then we're going to make sure that we also do the second piece. So we're going to do the same. We're going to cut off our little piece, and we're going to put our paper down, our shims, and then we're going to run the whole shebang through the die cutting machine. Now you will glimpse the black foil piece because I actually did all three of these pieces at the same time. I just didn't end up using all of them for the same video. So we are going to have a quick, I nearly said the looks up, but I meant close up on these pieces again, and then we're going to get ink blending. So we're going to use two different kinds of inks today. So we're going to have the Inkon3 Atelier inks, and we're also going to use some Pinkfresh inks. So we're going to start with the Pinkfresh inks, and we're going to use Aquamarine, Grassy Knoll, Sunshine, Clementine, Bubblegum, and I think we're going to use lavender as well. Yes. And then we're going to prep our paper. So you turn your paper upside down so the hot foiling is facing down, and then you place some low tack washi tape on. Actually, it doesn't have to be low tack. I guess it can actually be like super normal sticky washi tape. But the point is, you place it on the back so that the sticky is facing up. But the reason we're doing this is so that you can place your stencil on top, and it will always grip somewhere. So when you're hot foiling first, you're going to end up with the stencil not fitting. You're not going to be able to use like the lineup helping tools that are etched onto the stencils. So you're going to need to find a way to work around this. And this is how I do it. So I stick the washi tape on the back, and then I put the stencil down on top instead of having to like tape down the stencil to each layer. But do whatever works for you. I find this works great for me. And here we have lined up all of the inks. So we are going to start with Sunshine. So whenever I have a yellow in my ink blending mix, I usually start with that one because I do find that it's the easiest one to mess up. So it either kind of, you know, you put too much other color on top and it just kind of fades away, or, you know, you don't leave enough space for the yellow. So I always start with yellow, and I normally start with yellow in the middle. And I don't know why, but it's just how I kind of do my rainbows now, I guess. So we're going to go through this whole process of how I do it. So you will notice that this video is a little bit sped up, but most of the parts are where we're going to, you know, where I'm explaining what I'm going to do. It's only sped up twice. So it's double as fast as I wouldn't do it in normal life, because, you know, we don't want to be here like all day, like looking at me ink blending, right? Even though it is great cardio, I will say that. So the key to getting the rainbow layers is to put down I want to say like a gentle layer of your first color on your first stencil, because we are then going to use the same colors on all of the layers in the same areas. So you don't want to go in super heavy to begin with. Here you might notice that I realized I cannot control the way my ink blending brush is going, so it's going to go outside of the where the stencil ends. And I wasn't sure whether I wanted to do like a slimline card at this point, or a 5x7, or if I wanted to have a lot of white space. So I thought, let's just mask that off with some scrap pieces of paper and more washi tape. And I'm nearly at the end of this one because I've been using this one a lot, but it's not my favorite, so I'm like, you know what, it doesn't matter really. So don't use up your good washi tape when you're using it like this. Just use one that you're not like a super fan of. Now this is what it's gonna look like after your first layer, and then we're gonna just pop down stencil number 2, and with the help of this washi that's on the back, it's super easy to just make sure that once you've lined it up, you just press down, it will stay down, and you're good to go. Now, this time I did actually add my little kind of extra, what should we call those? Saving pieces, guardrails, scrap pieces of paper with washi on to save my my cardstock. And then I just kind of got to work. So what we're doing here is we're going over the same colors. So on yellow, you go over with yellow. On orange, you go over with orange. On turquoise, you go over with turquoise. So it's super simple. This is probably the simplest way of doing like ink blending, but not having to kind of think about, oh, is it gonna actually blend into each other? Because you don't really have to worry about it. You just add the same color on each layer, and that is it. And I know I'm making it sound super easy, but I've been doing this for a long time. You're probably sitting there thinking, well, woman, if it was that easy, everybody will be doing it. But I'm hoping that by showing you this, that there really isn't much to it. You can do it. I believe in you. So just give it a go today, and you'll see what I mean. It is super easy. And you don't even need like 6 colors. You can probably get away with like, start with 3. Do like pink, yellow, and blue. That will do. And then by blending those colors, you will get like the full rainbow. Now, this is another somewhat important step. So now we're going to start from scratch-ish. But now we're going to do the leaves. So here you have to just kind of keep a little bit of an eye where your color is going, because we're still going to want to keep it in the same like yellowy area and not go too much into the green and not too much into the sort of pink orange. But on your first layer, as I said, just try to kind of go, I want to say steady and even, so that you get the color down. It doesn't want to be too wishy-washy, but it doesn't want to be too heavy either, because you're still going to want to add another layer to get those depths and like the details. Now we're going to add yet more rail guards, pieces of washi tape, safety bits, to make sure that the bottom bit of our cardstock is not going to get all messed up as well. Now I did actually end up cutting these out using the coordinating die cut. But at the time when I was ink blending this, I thought, you know what, I want to keep my options open. So I'm going to protect the rest of the white space as much as I can. However, this is again just scrap pieces of paper. Don't use any nice fancy paper. Just, you know, dig something out of the bin, you know, grab some like cheap printed paper or something like that. Don't use your good paper for this. Here we are going to add our last layer. This is our last stencil. So here we are going to want to go in with a little bit more color to kind of get all those like details, and because it can be, especially with the yellow, you can sometimes kind of think like, oh, it's not really going to show. So you might need to go in with a heavier hand and just kind of make sure that you get all of those details in there and just get that color down. And then worst case scenario, you could go like with a very light sweeping motion over with the orange just to kind of bring in the depth of the yellow, because at the end of the day it's all going to kind of blend together and all these colors work together as well. So you don't have to sort of overthink it too much. This is supposed to be fun. It's not like a matter of life and death. So try to remember that if you ever get stressed out by this. It's supposed to be fun, and once you get the hang of it, it is so easy, but you get such stunning results. So, I mean, look at this. Once I get all that off. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that so cool? Woo! I mean, I'm such a fan. I love this. And we are going to use the Inkon3 Atelier inks as well. And I'm going to go through the whole thing again, but and this time we're going to do it slightly faster because we've just seen the whole thing once, right? You're probably thinking, do I really need to see this again? And maybe not. Maybe you fast forward this part, but it's very short and it kind of comes to life a lot quicker. And these colors are slightly different, so you get different results. And I think at the moment I'm leaning towards this one being my favorite because it just kind of, yeah, the colors are like, like look at me, I'm color, yes. So this one is a big favorite of mine. However, I did do a little bit of a boo-boo. So I tried to clean up some of the ink that kind of got messed up onto the actual flower. So the foil rubbed off a little bit. So don't try to do that. That works with heat embossing, but not with foiling. So on your left, you can see the Inkon3, and on your right is the Pinkfresh colors. So then I cut out the flowers with the coordinating die cut, and this is the one that you might have seen in the previous video. This is the Inkon3 pre-gold splatters, and this is our Pinkfresh Studio one. Now I did go ahead and sprinkle quite heavily with the gold watercolor on the two to the left, and I'm really curious to see which one is your favorite. So this is a card from a previous video. Here is Inkon3, and next up is Pinkfresh. Let me know which one is your favorite, and I will see you soon again. Bye for now.